Alright, hello and welcome back everyone here. The last game of the day, Starladder Season 10 China, Day 2. We've got LGD Gaming going up against LGDcdec. I'm Helium, and joining me once again, it's going to be Blaze. How you doing?
Nice. Got a little nap there in between the games, so refreshed for this one here. LGDcdec has actually been showing that they have a lot to bring to the table as far as the team goes. Obviously, these guys have been scrimming against one another quite a bit. Obviously, as well, the pickups of these various players have proven to be helping the team dynamic. MMY Faith being very active in the early game and the last game that I got to cast them, and of course Tyler performing as to expectations. So yeah, we'll be seeing the draft kick off with a Batrider Ancient Apparition combo, one that was extremely potent in the hands of Invictus Gaming last time around, and the DC deck just go for something a little bit more standard.
Yeah, the Doom does get through though, so we see the Doom, the Skywrath picked up, and now neither team probably going to have to worry about touching the Brewmaster. Well, I suppose LGD, CDEC, or CDEC would maybe want to get it, as they've pretty much locked down most of the silence threat that Brewmaster generally poses in the early game, so we could see it, the Death Prophet banned out on the other side of things, and even the Naga Sleep, which could disrupt the Brewlings a little bit, but we'll see what they want to do, as Sand King and Ember Spirit going to be taken out here by LGD Gaming.
Yeah, so interesting bans there. Obviously, they know the teams better than we do, so the fact that they've done a lot of kind of in private drafts against one another, maybe they know how to get a leg up on the opposition, what they want to go for, and things of that nature. So we did see some really great core play from XH last time around, really put the team on his back. So we see that. We see maybe obviously a great core player as well, and the Ember could be fine in either of their hands. But yeah, LGD in general are I would say favored position with all these all-star players. I mean, Yao, Faith, Sylar, and MMY are all names that really just resonate for any Chinese Dota fan out there. But Intalai is kind of the unsung hero. Like, he's actually been able to add a lot to the team. I believe he was playing offlane last time around, and yeah, he actually he doesn't have that big flashy name yet, but give him some time. This guy really does make plays happen.
Yeah, and he's coming over from CIS Gaming, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so having a good performance. Obviously, they had a great experience in the Chinese qualifiers and doing pretty well on that, making it into the play-in series. So they got a lot of experience for a very, very young team. And now in July, transferring over to LGD Gaming. And I mean, maybe on the side of the other LGD squad is, a really young player. He was on the LGD roster, but they got all these new players, these all-star players. So they gave him the captain of LGDcdec, and it doesn't look like he's the drafter. It looks like Q is taking that up right now, but maybe sort of leading that team. It is quite good, as looks like Viper was that ban out. So Razor and Viper both taken out. Saw a bit of them today in a few games. Not going to be the case here as we wait for LGDcdec picking up their third.
Yeah, so I'm really expecting a lot of Angel as Batrider. That's what we saw last time around, and he seems to be really skilled at it. So have high expectations there as far as finding the pickoffs, finding the openings, and it's very well warranted as far as the first pick goes. But now they're up against the Faceless Void. They have to really put emphasis on picking him off when he's away from the sky, because you blink on him, there's enough time to get a silence or in disastrous circumstances, a Chronosphere on you, and they can go for a turnaround kill. So you have to time it carefully, but it's still better than picking up, letting the Ancient Apparition and Void combo go to the enemy there. You want it for yourself for the setup for that Mystic Flare. You've got a lot of Magic Immunity Piercing disabled now, so it makes LGD hard to pick a hero that they can feel they can rely on. Like, they kind of have to distribute their force amongst all 5 heroes, because if you put too many eggs in one basket, a single Chronosphere can ruin your entire game.
Pretty much. We saw that a little bit earlier with Hal for Newbie doing a great job on that Void, bringing the game back even after losing an early rack. So we know that Void is, even if he starts in the offlane, has that super, super late potential and can be pretty terrifying in the mid game if he has a good start. We'll see what they want to sync up with it. You mentioned the Ancient Apparition taken away. I know the chat probably really wants to see Witch Doctor come down here. We had to listen to the song in that long 40-minute downtime. That great Witch Doctor song. What is it? It's not GLHF. It's HFGL, right? Have fun, good luck.
Yeah, that is the right one.
Yeah, so it's what we were listening to. It's what we were doing. Anyone just joining us here, though, you missed out.
Unfortunately, YouTube with your copyrights and your other sorts, but I guess they're here for the game more than anything else. So the other stuff is just a nice little extra in between. Lion's gonna be interesting here. What he can bring with the burst combo. Finger of Death on top of Ice Blast will be enough to kill off just about anyone. I mean, the Doom is pretty tanky, and a backtrack could always keep the Faceless Void alive, but they are still gonna be looking for maybe some BKBs to keep themselves up and keep themselves fighting. Even the Doom is a hero that we're seeing pick up BKB more and more. Although he's one that generally is okay with tanking up a lot of disables. If he can nullify magic effects, he's pretty much immortal in the fights and can really get active and aggressive. The Nyx Assassin's going to come through for the side of LGDcdec, and I'm actually curious how they're going to play this one.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the reason for the pick. Nyx Assassin, you've got Intelligence Batrider, Intelligence Ancient Apparition, and Ancient Apparition is always kind of far away, looking for that really, really big Ice Blast, although Chuan from the last game showing that you can land those double Ice Blasts very, very close up in the fight, get an early dominating streak, but... And then you got the Intelligence Lion, so Nyx Assassin with the Mana Burn later on in the game, going to be pretty easy pickings for those two supports, and looking to try to disrupt Batrider maybe with those Impales as he jumps in, lassos up his carry.
Yeah, Carapace is really good against Firefly too. Whenever the Batrider pops it, you can guarantee the stun. So Nyx Assassin is, I would definitely say, a counter pick to the Batrider. The problem is he's not always in the exact position he wants to. The Bat's going to have a Blink Dagger faster than Nyx Assassin, so to get in position for his stuns, for his burst combos, he definitely just has to have some great game sense, some great positioning across the map in general, and he's another melee hero that can only contribute in a limited extent at range. So right now, Faceless Void, dropping the Chrono, they've only got Skywrath to really dump damage into it, and I think they really need a ranged high-impact hero for LGDcdec, a lot more damage if they're going to be able to really pull this lineup off.
Alright, well, it won't be Invoker as they take it out themselves, and I mean, that's the role actually both teams are looking to fill, so Invoker and Tinker are going to be taken out here now over to the 5th pick. We'll see what it's going to be, whether or not it's going to synergize with the Faceless Void. I mean, sometimes you can still... I mean, if the Faceless Void gets off to a good start, he needs that a little bit less, but... Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, actually. I mean, Nyx Assassin, you don't see him as a support too often, so I kind of want to say he's going off lane, and maybe they still pick another support, but they won't. They will pick Puck into the mid lane, and, well, now you've got that Dream Coil and a little bit of extra damage with the Orb and potential Waning Rift either before or after the Chrono, so pretty good synergy.
Yeah, I still don't know if it's like really working well as a Void-centric lineup. They're not going to be relying too heavily on big Chronos as we've seen before because they built a lineup that's very self-sufficient. Nyx and Puck have tons of gank potential by themselves. Doom with his ultimate can really do a lot. So the benefit of that is that C-Deck isn't going to be really weak when the Chronosphere is on cooldown or unavailable, and the weakness, of course, is that they're not going to be able to peak and just do some devastating damage when it is up. So there's some pros and cons here, but we'll see them pick up a lineup that can really just do a lot on its own, and the Chrono will be that fallback skill to really hammer home the team fights. Even still, LGD picking up something interesting here with Sylar on the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. And actually looking even more forward to MMY on the line. I feel like he does a lot more on that hero than most can even think about doing. So we'll see. We're waiting for him to pick that up. And maybe here it looks like he'll be scooping up the Puck for the side of C-Deck. Yeah, it's going to be maybe on that. Got the Immortal. So he's set. Or is that just the Alliance set? These things matter to me. He's got them both.
I'm actually still stuck at the draft screen, so I'm going to have to, I guess, reconnect real quick.
Alright, we'll head through the introductions then while you fix that up. On the side of LGD, we've got Yao playing that Wraith King, and it looks to be, yeah, it will be in a core position. It's a little less common these days than just the support, because you can always turn that support into a core. You don't generally want to go the other way, turning a core into a support. But yeah, Wraith King played by Yao. We got Faith playing that Ancient Apparition, and MMY on that maybe signature line, we can say. Looking in the middle lane, we've got Sylar on the Shadow Fiend, and in July, yes, he will be playing that offlane as you mentioned, Blaze, on the Batrider. And over to LGDcdec, we've got the Nyx Assassin handled here by Q, Garter on the Skywrath, and Doom playing Doom. I'll get his name in a second. Maybe in the middle lane here, probably maybe the man to watch actually, pun wasn't intended there. And we've got Sky, 333 Sky, KY here on the Faceless Void. Let me get their names from the Starladder.
Yeah,
just
XH
333
is the Doom, by the way.
and
Xiao,
XH.
it's like Zhang Huang or something like that. I can't really pronounce it very well, but XH is the Doom, and he's a really good core player. He was very impressive the last time I saw him, and really, in general, like I said, LGDcdec, this lineup, it was fresh around the time that we saw them in the TI4 Chinese qualifiers, but they've actually had a lot of time with one another now, and they've been relatively consistent there. So I got to know them a little bit there, and now seeing them play out against their counterparts here, it's going to be a very interesting game, no matter how the drafts actually turn out. Angel, look at this play. Like, this is actually very interesting movement for him. I don't know.
It's pretty aggressive right now.
It's extremely aggressive, but what can the Doom do to really counteract it? So it seems like it's going to be pulled off efficiently. And if you look at the stats on it, as the stats man pointed out, he's like 10-1 on this hero. Like, he is just absolutely insane when it comes to off-lane Batrider. So I will not question this guy when he goes for the interesting decisions.
Yeah, and I should mention we got Captain Kirk coming in here on the stats for the last game of the day, just in time as he gets off of work to increase everyone's enjoyment of the match. And now middle lane maybe 4-1. No last hits, no denies on Sylar right now, and it can get in a bit of a rut early on, but a couple more levels, a couple more last hits, things are going to get easier for Sylar. As in July, man, being crazy. He just wants to take out all these trees. I think that's mainly what that's for.
Yeah, it gives him some room to roam about across the map here. They really can't do anything to stop him, and all he's really looking for is to get the first few levels here. If he just gets to level 3 or 4, he can kind of rebound to the jungle as needed, and that is obviously not being warded up, so with full control there. But for now, it's going to be a duel between him and the level 1 Skywrath. Concussive keeps him in range, but it doesn't really actually do that much damage, so he'll keep on tangoing up and should be perfectly fine here. And in the meantime, yeah, they're going to have that stack nice and ready for him or for the Shadow Fiend. But I believe there's going to be the Batrider to take the farm priority towards before the Blink Dagger, and then Shadow Fiend will pick up after the fact.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend after a couple levels can always just push his own lane quickly with the Shadow Raises and stack the medium hard camps himself. We'll see if he wants to do that. He's starting to get on track now after that last creep wave. He's actually tied it straight up there with the puck. As in July, looking for the runes, it's actually going to be maybe they get on the puck. It was a regen, and whoa, if that Mana Burn came out a second earlier, that would have been the first blood. But able to cast the
For right now, this is just going to be evened out 10-1. We do see 9-1 on the both sides. Yeah, we're just seeing TS kind of go back and forth very evenly on the mid lane here. So Silo's able to control that, get the necessary Necromastery charges in the early games so that he can be quadrupling this CS count over the next few minutes. Like, this is just a start for him, getting the snowball rolling, but as long as he avoids getting picked off, he's amassing this incredible amount of CS. But already maybe manning up here, getting some decent damage in with the orb, but jaunting to it was a questionable choice because he really didn't get anything as far as auto attacks, and in fact, ate a few tower hits himself. So just trying to kind of show him his boss, but in the meantime on Fate...
Oh, gets the courier.
Wow.
With the bottle on it, 650th cargo worth lost, items handed out for that. That's really, really going to hurt Sylar. He needs to be able to get his HP back up from a bit of that puck harass. I mean, I guess he'll still be doing okay. Maybe he's forced to buy a salve or go back once, but definitely going to be a setback. And your 3 minutes and 30 seconds, Courier could have been upgraded.
Oh, definitely. But at the same time, the supports are kind of doing their own thing right now, or at least these guys really are going to be just trying to focus on their main quarry, which is his Faceless Void, pinning him down by getting boots up and zoning him out a little bit better, as well as smoking mid now. So a little bit distracted by that, and it'll cost him pretty dearly. I was actually looking at the Faceless Void, who nearly went down solo to the AA, but now it's going to be the orb wasted, and Puck going down for the first blood. Very nice rotation from MY, and knowing how maybe he's been using that orb the past couple of minutes here. He waits for the opening, gets a great opportunity, but now the haste on Skywrath means MMY will be the return kill.
Yeah, nicely done. Good rotations off that top lane. Even the XH going to get involved there on the Doom. And there you go. It was the Sylar's calculated courier feed so that Puck would use the orb more aggressively to harass. I don't know if they thought it out that far, Ed, but good rotation by MMY. He realizes Sylar lost, that bottle needs some help, finds the kill. Unfortunately, that rune spawns, and now maybe he's rotated bottom lane, picks up the kill there on Faith, and looking for some more here onto Yao. Did take out the Ancient Apparition.
Yep, so we're just moving in there and getting some good spells off, giving 333 a little bit more breathing room down here. He's going to move into the bigger and better levels, try to pick up that Chronosphere and try to make something happen with that. Yeah, the offlaners are actually having a decent time here when you look at the experience per minute in general for them. They're going to be building up towards their important level 6, and they're not been too far set back despite some active pulling from both supports. Oh, maybe.
Good for them. A little bit different than what we saw
Maybe he's actually going to go
with,
for it here. If he can get the silence off, doesn't even need it. Oh, he actually certainly does. Turned into a frog, getting chain stunned, and he's actually going to feed a huge kill away. MMY jumping up to level 4 as he brings down the level 6 puck.
Yeah, splits the XP there with Faith, but putting him up to level 4, as mentioned, pretty close to 5. He's got the wards up, the couriers respawned, it's been upgraded, Tranquil Boots coming out for in July here, level 4, and that's sort of that level we talked about, where you want to go into the jungle and start clearing up some stacks. We see a couple, but again, I think these closer ones to the mid lane are going to be for Shadow Fiend, but MMY was working on this one earlier for the Bat. Who will just head top. He's not having too much trouble there. They really can't kill him. There's not much disable, and it's going to be the pack leader's aura that XH is holding on to on the Doom. But you know, Doom is farming well, 32 and 13. Shadow Fiend's still doing the most despite losing his bottle. It's back up and running now, but he's 35 and 8 there in the middle lane, and unfortunately maybe giving up that kill to the supports of LGD.
Yeah. He set back Sylar a little bit in the laning phase with that Crow pick off, but now Sylar's just going to go ahead and, as we are talking about, farm out the jungle here. Batrider's actually not going to even need it because he zoned him out too harshly on the offlane. He's just going to go ahead and wait out a gradual Blink Dagger, a few CS, 7 CS, and most of it just unreliable gold, giving him the momentum towards that pickup. And in the meantime, that means Sylar can just take every ounce of what this jungle has to give. One more stack will come through in the central camp, and then he'll just be raising this like crazy.
Indeed. He's going to get it here. Sometimes this can be annoying to stack. Those little hill trolls just won't run out of the camp sometimes, and it drives me absolutely insane. And I don't know, I think they blocked it over in this region, just trying to stack the other camp, because it did not stack. And they got mud golems in the other one, but Sylar cleaning up everything, and already 56 CS right now. He's way ahead, and he's actually going for a mechanism, which is, you know, it's not common. It's pretty strange. We can probably get some stats on that, but I mean, this hero early on is not dependent on items for damage. He's got that Necromastery, and he just wants to be a little bit survivable and help out the team with a mech, but here comes a smoke up into the gank. They're going to have everything on him. Silence, Dream Coil, and, well, they don't have the Chrono yet, wouldn't have needed it anyways as they pick off the kill there. Really, really good gank there for C-Deck.
Yeah, so...
Skyrath going to be left behind, though.
So trying to stay active across the map is pretty good for their timing here. They'll obviously be creating space for their top lane as well. I mean, when you got that multi-core aspect where you're going to be able to really hold your own in the mid to late game, getting a nice opening there is going to be great. But I don't know, they need to make sure that Sylar doesn't gain too much momentum. That mechanism, the win rate, I'm curious about it, but what it does bring is just the fact that he already has a lot of offensive potential, the fact that he can sustain and heal. It actually is really cool. So with that mechanism coming out in just 600 gold, and the bottle and Aquila giving him the survivability, it's going to be huge.
I like the mana drain idea here from MMY out onto that puck, trying to slow him down so he can't get out, but he will be able to get out. Doom, not so lucky. He will fall to the Lion. Lion now level 6, Finger of Death online. Not a lot of mana now, and Wraith King going to come up with his Glove of Haste. Midas going to delay the Midas because the courier came out from base to the bottom tower, and now he TPs, and it has to go all the way up. So now he gets that Midas out at 8 minutes 40 seconds. It's not a Midas I'm in love with. I'd like to see just Tread's Blink coming out, but I mean, Wraith King can definitely go the distance in the late game against Void, because even if you kill him in the Chrono, well, Yao's going to respawn and then maybe kill you on the backside of that.
I think this is a good game to take late game. Right now, the Doom just went for a Midas of his own. If you want to keep pace with a devouring Midasing Doom, you're going to need more than just what a Wraith King can right-click down in lane. You're going to need more than that. So I think the Midas is the right course of action at this point in time. And you also have to keep in mind that Sylar is just going to be greedy with this Shadow Fiend. He's going to be taking a lot of lane farm, a lot of the jungle farm, and there aren't going to be that many resources for the Wraith King to take off the map. So might as well generate them your own way, and we'll see what he can do with it.
Dang. Can't get much better than that.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. It's about to come out, what, 9 minutes 45 seconds? and 100% win rate for that timing window. So that is pretty insane. We see it in like 1v1 matchups between Shadow Fiends because it really is just that extra oomph of HP. But in this case, yeah, they just didn't have anybody better to go with as well. Like, I think they had in mind when they picked the Shadow Fiend, this is what you're going to go. They had it planned in the draft, and they will be able to implement it very early on in the game here. So I really love the pickup. I think that is going to give them the utility they need, but we're still going to see some active flanking, and if they just keep dooming the Shadow Fiend or chronoing him, it still might not be enough.
They will find Faith now in the middle lane. The coil going to be dropped again, and no need to use that chrono. They pick him off, and, well, they can maybe push off of that since there's not going to be an Ice Blast. MMY, though, will take out the Skywrath, but he's going to be the recipient of the Doom. It's a trade-off on the supports there. Illusion Rune, Shadow Fiend's going to go in and try to slow down this push a little bit. I don't know how much they can really push here. They've got the Pack Leader's Aura, which is going to be pretty nice. Oh, no Fortification. Okay, so tower cleaned up. Pretty much no problem. Maybe some raises to slow them down. But they got to be careful because of that. 3-3-3. But the TP's on the backside of this. I think Sylar just wanted to force out that chrono. Now he's got the mech. They might not even have realized he went for it. Throwing out the ultimate. We'll catch him a little bit. And yeah, slowing down 3-3-3 here slightly. And they will be able to bring him down. I mean, Requiem's not a massive ulti that is like super scary if you waste, I guess. I mean, it kind of is, but no one ever really talks about it that way. But yeah, they kill the Void and maybe get a tower of their own. Fortification available for CDec.
This is the perfect time to push, though. I mean, maybe we'll be able to do a little bit of counter push with his spells, but without the Doom, without the Chrono, they can just go for 5-man, and you can see the immediate movement from LGD. Say, okay, well, we forced a Doom on a support line that already dropped his big spell, so really we're perfectly fine with that exchange. And now with the Chrono Gun, although we did lose a tower, one more wave, and we're going to be taking this one here. As far as ultis go, the Dream Coil is coming back up, Vendetta in a moment as well, but the big ones, the Chrono, the Doom, still not online for another 15 to 20 seconds, but I guess they're not actually going to follow through with it. The Fortification, as you mentioned, was there and was enough for them to be dissuaded from the mid lane.
Yep, more stacks continuing here. They don't get it. This camp is so annoying, honestly. It doesn't quite stack, just a little too late there for MMY, but not going to stop Sylar from farming what's maybe currently there. He's bottled up a Haste Rune as they head bottom. Maybe they look to pick off this Void. That instant Hex from MMY is going to go a long way this game. I don't know, he really wants the mana drain, but maybe one more point in the Hex just so it lasts a bit longer so you can actually kill the Void here. The Ice Blast coming in though, and it lands, but Puck is there quickly to react to the Dream Coil onto 2. MMY going to be the first to fall. Sylar wants a couple more hits, but now you've got the mana and the Impales coming out. Oh, the Haste Rune going to be popped up. Negative Earn Charge on him. It looks like he will get out of there.
Sylvia survived, but didn't get anything out of their opening there. They really wanted 3-3-3, as you mentioned, the Hex being a great primer for their assault, and of course they had the Ice Blast on top of it. So there's a good chain of disables, but the reinforcements from CDec are here. They saw the rotation coming in from the jungle because they're very deep Observer Ward. Now they're going in July. Easy Doom target and easy kill. The Ice Blast will try to turn it around, though.
Yeah, it hits a couple, but now the Chrono going to be expended, catching one of his allies. It's Maybe who's taking some damage there, and yeah, the Finger of Death coming up from MMY. Maybe not too happy about that one, and Yao looking to try to turn this around. Mana burn on, 14-second cooldown as it is just level 1, so Yao will maintain enough mana to go forward and maybe die with his ultimate, but not enough for stun and ult, and everyone just gets out of dodge. Anyways. Even with the sentry down, they expected the Nyx Assassin to stab them from behind, so they've got the True Sight from the tower, and a little further back to about this line, they've got True Sight from the sentry, but still, the Batrider are going to get caught out there, can't use that Blink Dagger to initiate properly with his lasso.
Yeah, so still looking for a fight where they can kind of take full on the offensive within July. He still gets the Blink Dagger at a great time despite really not touching the jungle. Like, you look at a 13-14 minute Blink Dagger timing and it's like whatever, but the fact that he's able to just get it freely without jungling is huge. The Maybe pickoff, that's the 4th death for this Puck. I hear that dies extremely little, but we do also have rank 2 Reincarnate available for the Wraith King, which is pretty huge. There he goes, the 2nd skill point, and yeah, he can just go ahead, Midas this next creep wave, and man up. Forcing his Reincarnate will allow Shadow Fiend to just absolutely tear through them with his spells. But
don't have it here though because of the mana burn. Yeah, it's kind of a pain. Requiem started up and canceled, and what is this? Rank 1 Ice Blast. Doom should be fine. Sends him back, though, at least for about, 17 seconds, I think, at all levels? Yeah. No, that's scepter duration.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going on about, but yeah, he will be forced back at least to tranquil regen, and it is going to be another successful tower defense from them. CDEC just really don't want to give a single tier 1 away. It's really about map control, making sure that they can go for Roche whenever they feel like, and as you could see, they really used that bottom tier 1 very effectively for their first rotation down bottom. They really rallied the troops. But although there was an observer ward seeing their movements there, and as you said, they saw the Nyx assassin kind of backstab coming, now they don't see this one. It's a smoke to see coming in from the flank right to the mid lane, and the Ice Blast is going to be on cooldown as well. That's a huge opening for CDEC here.
Yeah, this time though, Wraith King at full mana, 1 Marina Burn's probably not going to be enough, but they will get a very, very nice Chrono. The Skywrath ultimate now, going to land on 2, but 1 dies quickly, getting the full damage out on MMY, and MMY will fall. Now they're going to throw the Doom onto Sylar. Sylar also going to go down, and 11-9. Big Dream Coil for maybe here onto In July. He got off the lasso. Him and Yao still fighting side by side. Yao the last one here, and well, still 28-second cooldown on that Mana Burn. They want to maybe let him run and try to get that Mana Burn off so he doesn't reincarnate, because if he does, yeah, they're just going to have to back, I think. I mean, maybe not. Support's up in like 2 seconds, and yeah, they will back off. Going to err on the side of caution with that one. As Yao doesn't die, finishes his Blink Dagger, but sustaining heavy losses, now trailing by 2 kills.
Yeah, getting the cooldown there for the reincarnate is well worth it for guaranteeing another kill within the next 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, it was really the timing of that smoke that came out, where they were trying to scout with an Ice Blast, and really just LGD, where they should have been able to fight. They certainly could not, because that great time Doom on the Shadow Fiend, the fact the AI didn't have his ulti, and yeah, I really do like CDEC's movements in this earlier stage. It's going to put them in a position where Doom can really take it to the late game. Looks like he's going to go for a BKB buildup. Could go for Aghanims as well, but we haven't seen that as popular outside of the SEA scene.
I don't know, man. He's got Tranquils and Drum. Just throw the Doom, don't attack, and chase people down. But yeah, you're probably right. Maybe looking for the BKB with that Ogre Club. 3-3-3 here on the Voids. Already got that Mask of Madness up. Another 1,000 gold after that, so he's free to choose what he wants to go for, whether it be an Aghanim Scepter, a BKB, maybe even some early crit. Ag's probably the most common, I would guess, but here we go, LGD all poised up here for a 5-man strike, looking to get maybe Q's going to start scouting it out with that Vendetta. Getting cold feet, maybe? Ancient Apparition actually pinging out there on the Batrider saying maybe don't go for this. And maybe throws down the coil onto In July. It looks like they're just going to be letting him go. And it's unfortunate, sort of the sacrificial Batrider, and oh my gosh, look at this. A 3-man Chrono perfectly all aligned. They're going to split the damage with that Skywrath Mystic Flare, but it doesn't matter too much. Doom out on Sylar, he will drop. Still on cooldown as this reincarnate, and it's going to be a 4-man wipe. The only one, Faith. Oh, they're still going to get him, but there was the, of course. First hit bash coming out there from 3-3-3, and it's a full team wipe. Maybe getting the ultra kill, immediately dominating after that death.
Yeah, he had a bit of a rough start, but now just showing what he can really do on this hero, as well as their general team movement as a whole. Like, LGD's lineup is going to have a lot of potential over like the next 10 minutes, but right now they're not realizing it, and they're not starting fights the way they want to. So good execution, good movement from CDEC, and they're going to be taking huge points off this map. This is going to give them a nice advantage even before Roshan, and they don't even have to use it as a comeback tool. They can kind of use it to cement their advantage more than anything else.
Yeah, and there's that BKB coming out on the Doom that we did talk about. So he's going to be definitely hard to bring down. He's got a lot of HP. There's obviously some armor reduction, which I think is one of the best tools to deal with the Doom, and you got that coming out from the presence of the Dark Lord, but only level 11 is the Shadow Fiend. Doom's up to 13, so just 1 point in presence of the Dark Lord, so that's going to get a little bit better for them, but not if they just keep killing Sylar. There's the Vendetta, everything, the TP's coming in, the Power Rangers are here. Yeah, Sylar trying to get off this Requiem in the trees, and he will cancel it because the BKB goes out.
Oh, but will he go down? No, the Ice Splash isn't strong enough.
Yeah, it's not doing any damage to this BKB, and he's going to be fine. Needed to get to about 170, probably even a little bit lower than that. Stays at about 200.
So there you go, but they will force him out. He still has the Doom. He just loses the BKB for about a minute, and then he'll be able to really fight the way he wants to. So I guess they're gonna turtle up a little bit, get some more farm on 3-3-3, and find their openings there. But it looks like LGD, they want to force the issue now. They get the smoke, they force the BKB charge, and they're gonna try to find the opening onto Q, but a nice reaction with that Spike Carapace.
And another Chronosphere. I feel like we've seen this once already today. One team just trying to be so aggressive into the Chronosphere and all these ultimates. It looks like 3-3-3 will go down finally to the end of that Ice Blast. Maybe though jumps in, gets a two-man coil, immediately hexed, and will fall. Dominating streak over to the Wraith King on Yao. Sylar dancing around with that Requiem of Souls. Won't throw it off, and alright, well, working out better for LGD here than it did for Vici Gaming a little earlier in the day as they're pushing down the tier 2. The Doom goes out from XH. He's got a BKB, but it's still on cooldown right now on the backside of things. Q with the two-man Impale, silence out onto MMY as well. And it will be CDec that lose 2, but will hold on to their tower and will actually be able to deny the tower. So an okay trade for them as they remain 4 kills ahead after the fact with the tower deny.
Ancient Apparition living with 3 HP at the end of that Urn Charge, the value branch keeping him up. Faith really actually making an impact on these fights. Like it's not as clear because like we were talking about, if they're at 20% HP, they're perfectly fine. But when Faceless Void jumps in, he has to make a real decision whether or not he wants to use Mask of Madness. Because right there, he got hit by the Ice Blast, was not life stealing, of course, and on top of that, he was just taking more and more damage from his own debuff. So in that case, he falls rather quickly. They get in relatively even exchange to start out the fight, but in the end, CDec just holds. They're too strong at this point in the game for LGD to be able to just take things willy-nilly. They have to get a really nice advantage out of the fight, and I guess that's going to be on the shoulders of Sylar.
Yeah, Sylar doing very well. He's at 8.9k along with the Wraith King that did go for that Midas. So they are keeping up with the Doom, who maxed out Devour, got a Midas of his own. He's a little bit ahead though. The Doom at 10.3k, then about 9k apiece on the 2 cores for LGD. So XH definitely a force to reckon with. He's 2-1 and 7 with the BKB, the drums, and we'll see what he wants to go for. 1200 gold in the bank currently. Bottom lane though, trying to push the tier 1, trying to make the trade as the tier 1 tower falls. LGD claims that. Sylar with the last hit, and yeah, this one's gonna fall too. So trade out and maybe going for a Dagon level 1. Void 333 getting the last hit on this tower.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the Dagon pickup here. It's usually an item that you see to snowball an advantage, but if you take out the Ultra Kill that he just recently got, he was actually having a really bad game to that point. So 4 kills put him back in the driver's seat, but is it enough that he can essentially just like burst down a hero like the Lion or the Ancient Apparition, I guess? When you look at it, the big question as well is going to be if Shadow Fiend can get off the BKB. Sylar has finished it. He's ready to make the most of it and nullified the contribution of that Dagon for the most part. So personally, I would have rather seen him save up for the Scythe of Ice, but it looks like they want to put the pressure on now rather than later.
Yeah, maybe even a Yules is up top. We see the Lasso, the Bat Rider Ancient Apparition combo really working there for the first time as they pick off Doom, who, well, with this death might actually start to fall behind the Wraith King, at least while he's dead. I'm sure he'll get back up quickly as his Midas will be off of cooldown for 30 seconds here. The efficiency Doom. So that's a pretty nice pickoff as maybe toying around with Yao, really nothing he can do, can't land that Wraithfire Blast.
Yep, so just controlling right now across the map. They get some great observer wards up. If we can highlight those real quick, those are spreading out amongst the Radiant jungle, so the LGDcdec can be very comfortable with their invasions. But a Geometrist type will come up for Faith, coming out on the courier. They sentry it just like I mean, if they just bought a Jeb, they don't need the sentry there. But he's so confident in knowing where it was placed that he's like, yeah, we'll just put this here. But Gem was purchased. Did he sell it back? No, it went onto the Bat Rider. Angel Eye stole it.
I don't believe you can sell the gem back, can you?
Not even 10 seconds? I don't know.
I don't think so. Which is kind of annoying. Honestly, you should be able to, but I don't know. Maybe because there's only one inventory or something with it. Or I'm wrong in making things up. But yeah, in July, Bat Rider going to hold it, and that's pretty common for the Bat Rider to have it. Sure, he sort of, you know, initiates and goes crazy and might end up dying, but he has this. He has Firefly for flying vision, can get up cliffs, and he's of range, so easy D wards. They take out almost all the wards we were just talking about. This one's still remaining here. Not on too key of an area at this point. It was a lot better when they were still pushing this tower here, but obviously that's fallen, and now this ward loses a little bit of its effectiveness. But, I mean, it's scouting out Wraith King rotating over, so... And he will even get pinged on here by the Nyx, so maybe I'm completely wrong, but it serves its purpose. Meanwhile, the Radiant Observers keeping tabs on the Void, the Skywrath, just the top bit of that dire jungle.
Yeah, but LGD really needed that gem pickup to kind of get much more control over the map. Those 3 wards that were on their side were going to give cdec too much intel, and now they actually feel comfortable in just running out across the map. They get this Invis Rune online. They try to find a quick and easy combo opening, but I don't even think this Ice Blast debuff is going to give MMY the opening to finger down the Nyx Assassin. Could go for the full combo and actually do all the damage without the Spike Carapace because the Hex opener, but it just still wouldn't be enough by his damage alone.
Yeah. Also, he's got the Hex at level 1, so it's... I mean, it's a great stun. It's 2.5 seconds, and that was buffed a couple patches ago, which, you know, saw Lion getting picked up a little bit more of the base time on the Hex, but it's all the mana. He's maxed out the mana drain here, maybe trying to steal it away from the puck, slow him down a little bit, and it's also just great for this hero because he can constantly roam. He's got Tranquils up, so even if he takes some HP damage, he can heal up, and he can easily mana drain anything and just have a constant force on the map, keep up those levels, and get involved in a lot of kills.
Yeah, if you look at this entire team, they're relatively mana independent. Like Batrider, his intelligence hero that doesn't really exhaust his mana pool very frequently. Shadow Fiend is going to have plenty as long as he int tread switches when he needs to. And the Ancient Apparition is one that doesn't spam out too frequently either. Like, he's got short cooldown spells, but only uses them in the bigger combat sessions. And yeah, in general, I would have to say that the most mana-reliant hero is going to be Wraith King, and he should be fine too. The Nyx Assassin has thwarted him a couple times with mana burn, but it's not his priority. Q maxing out the Spike Carapace first and foremost.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bit harder to have a guaranteed reincarnate, though. Unless he goes for a BKB. I actually went back for an armlet on the Wraith King, as every level now, you're going to have a point going into mana burn. So 28, 20, 12, and then eventually 4 seconds. So 3 more levels is going to be a really big deal here for Q on this Nyx.
Smoke from both sides. Deception at work, but it looks like maybe he's going to be the one to break it out. He was kind of farming, and now is maybe trying to just be there in case the team gets involved. But since Smoke is gone, they're the ones that are actually in retreat. They're a little bit worried about this one. Are they going for a second Smoke here? It doesn't look like it. They're just making sure that they don't get caught out.
Yeah, just being defensive by their tier 2s, knowing they might be under an Observer ward, which they actually were. The Vendetta will go out here. BKB on the Doom. Actually, 333 just finished a BKB as well. He will jump onto Sylar. Sylar, they're not going to have enough to bring him down, though, because all the other damage is on the backside of this, so Sylar will get doomed, not able to throw out the mech. Faith will actually get a kill there on the puck. Batrider has fallen as well on the tail end of the fight. But it was Sylar who lived through the Chronosphere, and with that, he can use his mech in a couple seconds. And they maybe look to continue pushing this tower. I'm not sure. The gem is down. Did they retrieve it?
They got it, yeah.
Yeah, it's over on MMY right now. As we just saw that stat, MMY picked up his Blink Dagger. Usually has about 5 assists when he gets it, and then doubles them when he picks up the Blink, if I read that correctly. And they transition to mid, trying to take this more important tower.
Yeah. So
the dire Roche advantage is dwindling now.
The puck didn't even get the chance to use its Dagon in that fight. Got comboed too hard by MMY. Good movement there. And yeah, Sylar's item build has just allowed him to survive through the Void very effectively. Got the BKB off right before the Chronosphere, so they couldn't follow up damage on him, and then he gets the mech after. It's just the perfect way to nullify the 100-0 pickoff potential of a utility Void. Against a carry Void, maybe there's too much that can be done in that short time frame, but with the offlaner, he just doesn't have it. Pack the punch he needs to. So that allows Sylar to be very relevant for these fights, for them to kind of pull forward just a little bit here, and they're really the ones delivering the chokehold now. If you look at the wards, it's completely the other way around. They use their gem to dispel, and now they're using their obs to just gain great understanding of where the enemy is approaching from, if they're going to try to go for a Roche, if they're trying to farm their jungle, and things of that nature.
Yeah, see that very unlikely to be dewarded Radiant Observer here, but it does provide enough vision, at least walking into the Roche pit, where you can scout people out if they don't smoke. You see it a lot in the pro games here, and then of course just a very standard high clip forward like you mentioned. And they're going if the Roche land. They got the lifesteal of course for Yalon, that also works on ranged heroes, so it's fantastic for Sylar. Again, I mean, like, he survives these Chronos, and then you can get that lifesteal up, pending being doomed or not. And now that he has the Aegis, you got a extra life on your core Shadow Fiend here that's already hard to focus down, and you've got the Reincarnate on Wraith King, who might even armlet toggle his way into the fight for a long time, and he just finished a Desolator, so there's your really, really dangerous damage. You got the presence of the Dark Lord, and now some tower push.
Yeah, and that's the Midas at work right there. You wouldn't have a Desolator at this timing with only 138 CS, so the fact that he committed a little bit to it, the game is dragged out, Now he's had it for 20 minutes time. Is able to really get a lot of value out of those transmutes, and still has a decent bit of reliable gold stacked up. So we'll see him actually putting out some offensive right click during his 2 lives. He's the most survivable hero just because of the reincarnate. So assuming he doesn't get mana burned out, he can really rely on just this quick burst. Actually going to go in despite Carapace not out in time, and yeah, Q's already dead.
It'd be so funny if Spike Carapace put the Ice Blast debuff on Faith as well, but just returns the initial damage and stuns him a bit. So nice pick off there. No buyback on the next Assassin, and that's definitely going to turn into another tower here.
Yeah, so I guess they're just going to look to kind of trade on that tier 2 bottom. No, it's just farming up the jungle for the moment. This is losses across the board for CDEC if they don't really try to make something happen. They don't really have push, they don't have mana on the puck, so yeah, he's going home, and yeah, the Void's out here as well, just farming up some ghosts. It kind of feels like a little bit of a wasted opportunity to at least try to make something else happen on the map. Now he's going to make his way down to the lane, but no, he TP's back home, and they just draw the line at the high ground.
Yeah, I mean, his chrono is online. His BKB sitting at 9 seconds, so he's looking for that big chrono. But he knows even if he chronos these two together and they kill them both, it's not going to be enough to win the fight, because then you're without a chrono, maybe without a Doom, and then they just come back up full health, full mana. So they're chipping away at the tower. More than chipping away, they're just destroying the tower with that Desolator. But MMY, there's the sheep out onto Q, as well as the lasso pull back a little bit. 3-3-3 is going to drop the chrono and jump into it. It's the Nyx Assassin who goes down first, but the crits from Meow way too strong for that Void. He's got to run away. The Doom onto Sylar. They're trying to take on the supports on the side of CDEC. They're just focusing them. They've got the line, they've got the bat. They can't really focus anybody else, but these cores just do so much damage right now. They have to be focused, but they can't focus them.
Yeah. As XH was, or sorry, as Captain Kirk was pointing out, XH usually likes to go for the Aghanim's Refresher Shiva's build up, but that's not going to be functional here because he's so worried about all these disables. Actually gets a nice pop on the level death onto the Wraith King, but that's going to cost him his life.
Requiem.
He doesn't have a BKB.
Big Requiem from Sylar. The walk out there by 3-3-3. The Ice Blast will narrowly miss. It was a small distance there, so not a big radius upon landing. Maybe jumping in, trying to slow this down a little bit. Oh, I don't know if the long one should have went first, or maybe it was still on cooldown or what. Sylar very close with the Shadow Raises. One lane of racks down, though. As shown earlier, it's not quite enough against the Void. They'll look to have another one here if they can. Sylar will fall, does have the Aegis, and probably will fall again, but they got what they needed out of it.
LGD are doing it! But no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to lose the Shadow Fiend here, and that's a pretty big death, but still coming back in 60 seconds time. Like, Roche isn't going to be a factor for a while. They're not really going to take a tier 2 off of that alone, so just because the Ice Blast is so good at turtling. So it's a nice pickoff, but it doesn't make up for the fact that they lost their racks, and yeah, I was even getting aggressive. I don't know about this.
He's manly. You're going to deny the one true king his will? Sounds like a dangerous...
But yeah, one interesting thing to point out is the way Doom interacts against the Shadow Fiend right now. Like, you can stop him from casting his active items, the Mac BKB or Manta Style, but you actually can't stop him from lifestealing with the Wraith King aura. Like, it generally stops lifesteal items.
Oh, it doesn't stop that? Yeah.
But as long as the Wraith King isn't doomed, his team is still going to be lifestealing. So it's actually pretty interesting there, where the decent ranged lifesteal from the Vampiric Aura is going to be helping Shadow Fiend stay up in the fights, to the point that, like, this Doom doesn't really matter that much against him. Like, you still kind of feel like you have to use it against him because he does have a lot of active items that are very important to his team fight, but unless they follow up the Doom with a lot of hard disables, they don't really feel like they get much out of it. 70 damage per second, he heals through that just with right-click after right-click, and you almost wish he did have the Aghanims because of how long the Doom was staying next to the Shadow Fiend and really not changing the swing of battle, so I don't know.
Well, XH has got one of the items he likes. He just picks up that Shiva's Guard, and MMY becomes a lot more survivable with that pickup of the Yule's Scepter of Divinity. We'll see CDEC with another smoke, and you hate to see that. The smoke didn't break. To jump on the illusion, that's a pretty big mistake.
Yep, and now they're just going to kind of fall back. They have absolutely nothing to do here but farm out a couple lanes, and yeah, that's going to give LGD back control of the entire map. These wards are just relentless. They're always going to be knowing where the enemy is moving, and they're in such smart places, too. Like, you're not going to sentry those locations very well. Maybe the one in the central dire jungle, but even that's not the easiest, and you're much more often to commit wards to the plateau or just south of the plateau over here. So the current position still gives them insanely good intel. The lane's always going to be pushed out anyways because of the racks, and it's just going to be difficult to really get anything accomplished that isn't already going to be perceived in advance by LGD trying to.
Yeah, it looks like LGD, I mean, with their advanced wards, they've got a forward position on the map as well, so they're not too scared to maybe take a potential fight right now. Actually, Batrider will initiate, so not even worried about farming and waiting for the Roche. They'll throw out everything onto that Doom, no buyback. BKB used on 333, and he's just got to run straight out of here, and, well, reincarnate up, so there's sort of one Aegis for you. Only 2 points right now inside of the Mana Burn. Since the last time we talked about Mana Burn getting maxed out, Next Assassin has only got one level from level 11 to level 12. So you can see the progress has pretty much stopped across the board. But Puck with the Initiate, 333 jumps in, throws out the Chrono, and he's literally tickling a Shadow Fiend, and he jumps right back out of there. As the fortification is going to go out here. No Doom for 30 seconds. 2 lanes of racks here could maybe signal out the GG. Double damage even going to be activated now on Sylar. Buildings literally have no chance.
Yeah, they're just burning through these so easily. Desolator tearing through them, the double damage tearing through them, and 2 lanes down, I have to say that that's the game decider. I mean, sure, they're technically still in it with the most off chance of throws, the feeding away of all of LGD's lives at a random point in time, diving the well maybe, but you don't come back from 2 lanes of racks at 35 minutes in the game with this caliber of lineup from LGD. Like, they are already just delivering so many great wins throughout the team fights. They've gotten to a critical mass point on the Shadow Fiend very quickly, and yeah, the Puck does bring out that Scythe of Vice, giving him some real potential in the fights, but at best, they can hold for 10 more minutes while their economy is just crippled from the lanes being dissipated.
Yeah, so the Vice is going to be nice, and I don't know if we really saw the Dagon do much this game. I know we already questioned that early pickup, hoping to get that Scythe of Vice out first, or maybe at least a Yule Scepter in place of that Dagon. But the Sheepstake is here now for maybe, and maybe, I hate to say, like, how can I not make that a pun every single time, but maybe it'll be enough to do something in these team fights.
Yeah, look for Roche, that's going to be the big one, but LGD are going to scout that out as soon as they know it's a concern. They can just Firefly over the pit. But yeah, apparently, like, the Dagon gives you 3 more kills a game on average, but the Hex gives you 4 more assists. Right now, he's not doing great in either. Like, 7, 6, and 11, that's just an active game, but it's not particularly overwhelming from the Puck's performance. Maybe he still needs a little bit more, and unfortunately, LGD, with all these BKBs and just ways to react to the situation, it's not the easiest going for a hero like a Fairy Dragon.
Well, yeah. Or Puck. Alright, they go in for the Roche. This is kind of what they were waiting for. I say waiting, even though during that time they won some team fights and took another lane of racks. But it's finally back up. This will be the Aegis. Just the Aegis. I thought it was the 3rd, but
nope.
I can't count to 3, guys. It has been confirmed. It's just the 2nd Roche here. Aegis to be dropped, and Sylar with a slot waiting for it. Just going to go ahead and grab that up.
No, the first Roche was actually on the table for a very long period of time, so they were waiting for it, and now finally it does come up. But yeah, this is 22% even seems a little high there.
That's pretty good, yeah. That's just, I think, mainly because people invest so heavily in early heroes or early game heroes and just push and get 2 lanes of racks, and then they can't, you know, fight against the Void. But not quite the case here. Void jumps in, he will kill the Wraith King, and so I like Wraith King against that Void because he just respawns, and they will even throw out the Doom, now taking away the lifesteal as talked about earlier, but now it's In July making a bit of a ruckus on the backside of that fight, taking out the Puck, and also the next assassin going to fall there. Doom, KX, XK rather going to go down. 3 heroes down on the Dire Squad right now, looking to take those Mega Creeps. 333 will call out the GG here. 38 minutes.
Just too much pressure from the Sylar Shadow Fiend. The Wraith King got farmed up insanely well, too. I mean, Desolator AC plus Presence of the Dark Lord. You literally don't have any armor, and especially when you're a Doom, you're just going to be taking all the physical damage in the world. So they really did put up some good fights here and there, but apart from the one really good fight where maybe got the ultra kill, it really didn't feel like CDec had anything convincing. The fact that they safely in the Doom and awfully in the Void kind of stood out a little bit to me because of how well 333 got zoned out by Faith and by MMY. So I don't know. In this position, it really just came down to the cores that could do the damage got more farm. Doom got great utility items and allowed him to stay in the fight, but he wasn't able to really kill off a Shadow Fiend. He wasn't able to contribute in the Chronosphere, which was a problem from the draft alone. So in this position, I kind of feel like, yeah, they just didn't have the damage where they needed to. Maybe if Skywrath jumped up to level 16, they had some fights they could win. But as it was, the Dagon was not enough. The Shadow Fiend lives for pretty much every fight in the second half of the game, and they are able to take the win here.
Yeah, and Wraithing only with one death, and honestly, not very many reincarnates even forced out. They definitely did lack the damage. But that's it. That wraps up Starladder Day 2 for China. So hopefully you guys enjoyed everything. There's still a lot of Starladder to come, so make sure you get that ticket compendium, the tiny set as well, which looks awesome. And before we go, you can follow me on Twitter at HeliUmbrella, Twitter or Twitch, really. I'll start streaming again eventually. And then we got, yeah, there it is, Captain B, Kirk there on the stats, and Blaze, since you got a mic here, any last words as we close out the day?
Oh,